Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something that's, well, it's deeply unsettling. It's a system called the sorrow funnel, and it's specifically designed to take your compassion and turn it into a weapon against you. Let's get right into it. So imagine this. You're scrolling through your feed, and then, bam, an image stops you dead in your tracks. It's a little kid in a hospital bed. The caption is desperate, saying there are only 48 hours to fund a life-saving surgery. Your heart just sinks, right? And without even thinking, you click donate. But what if the child is perfectly fine? What if the photo was stolen? And that money you just gave? It's not going to a surgery. It's just funding the next scam. This is the jarring reality of the sorrow funnel. And here's the paradox we have to grapple with. In this kind of emotional warfare, your compassion, your very desire to do good, it isn't a virtue, it's a target. It's the front door they're trying to kick in. So let's start with that first piece. Section 1, compassion. For these empathy hijackers, this is the master key to everything. They practice something called Pathos-Engineering. Now, this isn't just telling a sad story. It's a professional, almost clinical system for manufacturing a tragic narrative. And its only goal is to completely bypass your logical brain and trigger an immediate emotional and, of course, financial reaction. And that's the core conflict right there. What you see as a virtue, that innate, powerful urge to help another human being, the predator sees as a vulnerability, an impulse they can exploit to liquidate your capital. This brings us straight to the next part, the psychological environment they create. It's called the empathy compliance trap. And this isn't about you being gullible. It's about you being human. So what is this trap? Well, it's actually a biological exploit. See, when your emotional arousal gets high enough, when you feel that intense wave of sympathy, it literally shuts down the part of your brain responsible for logical resistance. You can't fact check because your own biology is screaming at you to help. And what's really chilling is the scale of this. We're not talking about a few isolated fake posts. No. This is an entire sadness mining industry operating with terrifying efficiency all over the world. Their toolkit is disturbingly sophisticated. They're stealing real photos of sick children. That's visual asset theft. They're using AI to generate the perfect, heart-wrenching sob story. They use weaponized moral shaming, so if you dare to ask a question, you're the bad guy. And they always focus on one person, leveraging the identifiable victim effect, because they know we connect more with a single tragic story. You know, the financial loss is one thing, but the psychological harm of realizing your kindness was used against you, that's a real trauma. It makes good people hesitant to be generous ever again. And that has a name. It's called human faith liquidation. Because every single one of these scams doesn't just steal money, it poisons the entire well of public trust. It hurts real charities, and it hurts people who are genuinely in need. Okay, so now let's get tactical. Let's break down the scammer's playbook step by step. The anatomy of a sorrow funnel. A sorrow funnel is, at its core, a psychological operation. It's designed to build this invisible wall of what we'll call sacred grief around a fake victim. And it does it so well that giving them money feels like the only possible moral choice you have. The funnel plays out in 6 distinct phases. It starts with visual victimization, moves to a catastrophe hoax to create urgency, then social validation to build trust. After that, it's extraction, the exit, and finally, the ghost. They just vanish. Okay, phase 1, visual victimization. They use a stolen photo, and the goal here is not to start a conversation. The goal is to trigger a physiological response in you, a spike in oxytocin, that's the bonding hormone. They want you to feel a connection, not think about one. Then comes phase 2, the catastrophe hook. This is all about manufacturing insane urgency. The surgery is tomorrow. The eviction notice is for tonight. Why? Because it leaves you absolutely no time to think or to verify. It forces your brain into crisis mode. Next, phase 3, social validation. To get past any lingering doubt, they deploy swarms of bots to flood the comments with things like, "Just gave $20, praying for you." This creates a powerful bandwagon effect. If everyone else is giving, it must be legit, right? And the end game is ruthlessly efficient. Phase 4 is the extraction, collecting the money. Then they post a final heartbreaking update, creating a mourning window so nobody asks questions. And while everyone is grieving, they execute phase 6, the ghost.
They're gone. The account is deleted, the money is gone.
So we've mapped out the how, but the really crucial question is, why is this so effective? It's because this scam isn't designed to trick you. It's designed to hijack the very hardware of your brain. The easiest way to think about it is that your brain has two systems. You've got the emotional brain. It's fast, it's intuitive, it feels the story. That's the scammer's target. And then you have the logical brain, slow, analytical, it checks the facts. That is the one system the scammer has to bypass at all costs. They do this by inducing a state called affect infusion. It's a psychological term for when your emotions become so powerful that they literally start to distort your judgment and your decision-making. You're not thinking clearly anymore because you are feeling so profoundly. And this is the critical insight right here. They aren't hacking your bank account. They are hacking your morality. They are using your fundamental desire to be a good person as the ultimate form of leverage. This all leads to a condition called analytical shutdown. The sorrow becomes so overwhelming that the simple act of checking the facts starts to feel wrong, like a betrayal. It feels like you're failing the victim by even doubting them. And at that exact moment, the scammer wins. The final mechanism is the grief mirror. The powerful image and story trigger your brain's mirror neurons, which makes you reflexively, physically feel the pain that you're seeing. And your heart pushes send long before your brain even has a chance to ask why. Okay, we have gone deep into the attack. Now it's time to build the defense. This is the forensic verification protocol. This is your weapon against this kind of psychological attack. But first, we need a mental reframe. Being diligent is not being cold-hearted. It is stewardship. It is making sure your incredible generosity actually reaches people who need it, instead of funding predators. So here's your toolkit. First, the direct ask audit. A tragic story plus a direct Venmo link, treat that as a massive red flag. Second, the reverse image shield. Always reverse image search the photo before you even think about opening your wallet. Third, stick to the institutional filter. Real charities have public records. And finally, use that report button. Protect the next person in line. Now, here's an incredibly powerful tool. It's a script. I want you to memorize this word for word. My policy is to only donate through registered 501c3 organizations. If you have a link to a verified nonprofit handling this, please send it. I do not give to individuals directly. And you know what? This script is the perfect litmus test. A real person in a desperate situation will totally understand. But a scammer? They'll pivot immediately to anger or guilt tripping. Their reaction tells you everything you need to know. And all of this brings us to the core mental model you need to walk away with. You have to learn to see the system, not just the story. See, the scammer wants to lock you into the story. It's emotional, it's urgent, it's about one person. Your defense is to force the conversation into the system. A system is verified, it's structured, it's accountable. A real victim is looking for help. A scammer just wants a wire transfer. And if you only remember one thing from this whole breakdown, please let it be this. Grief is a story, but effective, responsible charity is a system. So let this be your new doctrine. From now on, when you feel that powerful emotional pull of empathy, let it trigger your new protocol. Not your wallet. Verify the image, check the history, and always give through the system, not the story. That is how you protect your own compassion and how you make sure it truly makes a difference in the world.